Okay, everybody. Well, welcome back. We're going to do another study, Michelangelo's Buonarroti's study of one of the resurrected, the Last Judgment. This is a black chalk white. It's about the same size of our paper, 11.5 by 9.25. So I'm just drawing out a little rectangle here just so I can see exactly where the composition to be. Watch that you don't draw from one end to the other, somehow not leaving enough space for the rest of the figure. So I'm just comparing this from two different angles, from above and from the side. In total, this will be about a 20-minute drawing, but I'll be speeding up the video just occasionally just so you can see a little bit quicker how I'm moving about. I'll be taking notes off to the side so you can see where with the minute marks. But right now I'm just trying to get the major landmarks in, and through gesture, just sort of placing the figure in the composition. In some ways, these lines sort of simulate where the bones would be, and then after that I start to mass up where flesh and muscle would be on top of these sort of bone lines. After I establish some of the basics, then I'll come in here and just double check that I've got the angles of these elements right. So this humerus, use my pencil to sort of imagine the line from the shoulder down to the elbow, how that fits. Then I begin sort of lining up the forms by comparison. So I'm looking at the elbows where a horizontal line moves across the space and how that lines up with the other elbow, or the line coming down from the head, how that lines up with the vertebrae. Major landmarks, I'm trying to imagine where the chromium process is, the elbows, and then also sort of the idea of which direction the forms are moving. Something moving back in space or forward. So I'll finish with the gesture. Now I want to come back in and sort of imagine exactly where the skeletal areas are. It's a 3-minute mark. I'll start out by figuring out where the scapula would be, and then off of the shoulder girdle, the way the clavicle and the scapula come together to create the socket for where the humerus drops down. So the mass conceptions that Robert Beverly Hale talks about, the scapula on the rib cage, if you could imagine a triangle moving across an egg, as you move up and down, this triangle sort of floats on that egg, and moving down to sort of draw this triangle below. Or if you go up to raise an arm, the scapula would move up. But this mass conception of the triangle floating on the egg is a good idea for the scapula. Some students, when they're looking at this figure and they see the knee going up, they would assume that this is the right knee. But what happens is this Michelangelo drawing is actually drawing a left knee, and we're seeing that raised up above. So I'm making a note to myself where it's missing. So now we move from the skeleton into the muscles. This next page, I can see what's underneath. We're about at the 7-minute mark here. So coming out from the spine, I begin with the trapezius. After the scapula, so this is the trapezius as well. Moving across and connecting with the lower part of the head. Moving from the scapula to the femur, we have the deltoid muscles. Our mark for the chromium process is our bony landmark that's up here. And down, start to form up the triceps. We have teres minor and teres major, and then the latissimus dorsi. This is the commonly call this the quadriceps. There's 4 different muscles that I'm here at 11 minutes for you to start to imagine a finished drawing based on the skeleton and muscles. Start out with contour line, seeing what I have underneath as a kind of, either in another drawing, this could have been a lighter drawing, harder lead. I'll use the separate papers. So Robert Beverly Hale, from the videos that I used to watch, I remember him saying you can't draw anything unless you know that it exists. And what I'm doing here is following another quote of his where he says, first we draw what we see, then we draw what we know, finally we see what we know. So this process of working from composition and gesture into skeletal and muscular masses, and then finally, more visual value drawing based on all that information follows that quote of his. So now that I've done all my research, set this drawing up, I'm ready to go in and think about the way the light's going to hit these forms. I think it's a better approach. Often students can draw a body as if it's a bag full of oranges with just bumps that have lights and shadows. But through this process that I'm demonstrating in this video, you have a better understanding of the way muscles run from bone to bone, the lines of the body as skeletal masses. Here's exactly how much these forms protrude, showing your highlights and shadows. So here at 20 minutes, let's see the gesture, the skeletal, and muscular drawings. That's what I was working for. So good luck with yours.